Do you want to know how to use JavaScript and SVG to make this self-drawing effect? Make it appear like a ghost is writing on an actual piece of paper? Then you came to the right video. Stay tuned, watch it, and I will show you how to solve this problem and how to avoid the problems that will come along the way. So the first thing I want to do is to get an SVG path that looks like this handwriting over here. I could do this by hand, but this would take me hours. I chose to just look for a font and download it. After finding a font that I like, I downloaded it and installed it on my PC. While defining this vocabulary cards, I decided to give them an aspect ratio of 1.5. This will be important later. Most of the times people use some image manipulation programs, and I do this too. So I chose to start up my GIMP and I opened a file that also has an aspect ratio of 1.5. It's important because later, if we use this in an SVG, we define a view box and we want the aspect ratio to fit so no unexpected behavior happens. I just did a simple thing. I used the text tool and wrote this to fit all the space over here. If you use another program, you have to Google or try out how to get the path out of this, but most of the programs, especially professional ones, allow you to get a picture and export a SVG path out of it. As you can see over here, I did this, and when you look to this path, the single key points that were created. I will spoiler you the first problem. The problem is that this text is not just one path, but the path is going around the borders. Later on, it will also only draw those borders, but I will intentionally work with this. So right now I can just go right click and export path, and I chose to save it on my desktop. Now back in my IDE, I go and open this path file. And there it is. And there we have our SVG file with the path attribute. You might recognize or notice that I'm using the view framework, but for our goal, by drawing a path, it doesn't matter what you use. The principle is the same. Now I take the complete value for the D attribute and copy it. And I will insert it into the D attribute of my path. If I look for it now, there we go. Don't wonder why this looks weird. I just forgot to remove all predefined styles. I think it's enough if I just comment the stroke width out. There is my problem. I only have the borders, but I want the font to be filled. Now we can do this by just say fill, and this variable is the color I want it to be filled, and there we go. Now I want this text to be drawn, so the initial state should be that this card is empty. For this, you have to identify the length of this path. Remember, all of this is only one path. So how do we get the length? We just use the method get total length. Don't wonder why I am using value. You just need to know that this is referenced to this path element. Okay, so you take the path DOM element and then you evoke the method get total length. And if you do this, it looks something like this. So 13,182. I made my life a little easier and I just used 16,000. You have to apply stroke dash array and stroke dash offset both to the length of the array. But why is it still visible? The problem is that I applied a fill attribute. I will put this to none and then it disappears. To make it visible again, to get that drawing animation, you have to change the stroke dash offset value back to 0. You could do this by applying an additional CSS class where stroke dash offset is 0, or you can just use JavaScript. This has, again, nothing to do with Vue.js. The animate function is a function that is available for every DOM element. It receives two arguments. The first argument is an array, and this array has objects as elements. And those elements can be all possible CSS attributes there are. The second argument is an object where you define some values like duration, fill, delay, etc. You might notice that those are the same attributes you use if you are using CSS animations. I will comment this out, and now we are going to reload our site. There you already see the vocabs. I will put the stroke width to something thicker, maybe 5. And if I refresh the page right now, there we go. This sounds okay-ish, but it is not exactly what I want. As you can see, only the borders are drawn, but the first issue is every letter is drawn simultaneously, but I want first the A, then the L, etc. And we have no filling. How do we do this? You remember I said when I had GIMP open, it's problematic that the paths are drawn alongside the borders of my text. For this reason, I will blend this out. I decided to do this by hand. I already wrote the text over here. This is the first step. And the second step is to take the path tool and to start defining paths alongside the characters over here. Now this is not necessary anymore because I already did this, as you can see over here with this path. I did this by hand, not alongside the border, but within the characters. And if you did this for the complete picture, like I did over here, you do the same like before. Right click, in GIMP it's right click and export path. If you use other programs, you have to just Google your program exporting paths. Now I exported my path and I saved it over assets, SVG drawing card path. I think this is the wrong one. Drawing card text path. Oh no, this must be correct. So let me just take this over here, copy it and put it into my path. There we go. And as you can see, it's already different because it's now thinner. There are no borders anymore. If I refresh this, this looks much better. I will change the width back to 25. And there we go. Now we solved one issue, but the other issue is that every character is rendered simultaneously. Me for myself, I didn't came this far, so this will be interesting how and if I can solve this problem. My idea is, instead of taking one single path, to define a single path element for every single character. And for this, I know how to do it, because if you check out our GIMP, for this you have to understand SVG at least a little bit. There is the character M for the D attribute, and M means that the path, the point where SVG draws something, is switched. As you can see over here, I started over here, drawing it to the top, drawing it back to the bottom, and the path continues over here. So I will have to watch out for the M characters in my D attribute. Don't worry, I will not do this for every single character. I will show it with 2 or 3 characters, and then I will skip the video. So here we go with the first M. This is the start. Then we have to watch out for the second M. And the second M is over here. And this is the third M. This should be the point where I jump over to the next character. So this and this is the first character. Now let's try it out. I will define a path. D attribute, and now I will take, where is my second M? This part and put it over here. I have no idea if this will work. Okay, now we go to the next one, path. D attribute. Now check out the L, there is no jumping, it's just one line, and for the third character it's the same. So I just need this M until this M. There we go. And the next path element. This M until this one. Okay. Let's format this a little bit. This is very weird. Okay, I will keep it like this. Make a little space. Now that we have 3 paths, I think I will comment this out for now, just to test if it works. Okay, this is not catastrophic, because we just have to define additional stuff. So I will apply to every of my new path a class single char. If I go to my CSS right now, I will say path with the class of single char, fill none, stroke. I will apply my primary text color, and stroke width I had 25. I will keep it like this. Let's check this out. This looks very good. I just have to define line cap and line join too. Okay, this is something I can work with. Now I have 3 separate path elements. Now I will comment this out. Again, don't worry about those weird functions and methods. Unmounted, this is a lifecycle hook of Vue components. This is one of the very first methods that will be invoked as soon as my SVG is rendered. That's the only thing you need to know. You can just use a conventional function for this. And now firstly I have to reference every single one of my paths. So I will do the following. I will reference my SVG to card SVG. You don't need to copy this. This is something view specific. Okay. Now I want to reference all my paths. So I will go like this. Const paths equals to jot value query selector all path with the class of single, how did I call it? Single char or chars? Only char. Okay. Path, I want to check if this works. Where is my console? And there, this looks very good. I think this looks very good. For testing purposes, I can just check out my lengths. Let p of paths console.1 length p get total length. And if I check out my console right now, oh, there we go. Okay, this is something I like. I will just assume that every character is less than 600 pixels long. So I will apply the stroke dash offset to 600 as well as the dash array. Now I can do the following. I can go over here, take this animation and make the path being animated. I will use less time. I will say 2000. These are 2 seconds, but for some reason the duration of the actual drawing is much quicker. I haven't figured it out yet why I have to, as you can see here, I applied 30 seconds duration. I don't know why it's so much faster. And because the finished attribute is returning a promise, I can chain those by saying await. That means if I don't use the await, we are now iterating through every path. And if I weren't using the await, the animations will almost also be simultaneously. With await, I make JavaScript wait for this animation to stop, to be finished, before starting the next iteration. I have to add an async before my function over here. And now, if I did everything correctly, it should work. Oh, this works very good. Now it's slow. I have no idea why it's slow now. Let's say 200 milliseconds. Guys, it worked. This is very good. Now I can do the very same thing with all the other characters. I will show it to you for the next, let's say for the next word. And I think the principle should be clear then. Let's check this out. We have the character Y. So the path is going over here and I'm doing a jump over here. So we have 2 M characters. So we need 2 more path elements. Let's add another path. Single char 2 times. Oops, there is no closing tag. But this is not the problem. Okay, here is my D attribute. Now I need the first M. And I need the second M. It's that long? I cannot. Let's check this out if it works. D equals to... No, wait a second. This was 1 character, wasn't it? We will just test it right now. Reload. Oh, okay, it works. Okay, this was the Y. Let's make some space between here. Now we have to check out the O. It's just 1 path. So we only need to take the formula after the next M. And if I save this, yeah, great. Okay, I think I have figured it out. It goes over here and then over here, no jump. And there is also no jump. So the next 2 M's, I will just copy this. This is our U character. And this is our R character. Now, if I test it right now, this is the way to go. I think if we have the complete sentence, it will take too much time. So let's be crazy and say just 50 milliseconds. Yeah, let's say 50. Okay, this is way too fast. Let's say 100. I think this 80. Yeah, I will keep it at 80 for now, and later on, if the sentence is complete, we will test it. I will not skip the video now. I will just do the rest in fast forward mode. So lay back, take some chocolate and enjoy. Now this should have been it. Let's test this out. Reload. And there we go. This is our final result. This is the way I wanted it to be. Drawing one character after another and not all characters at once. I hope it was clear for you to understand where the problems are and how to solve them. If you have any questions, if you don't understand or understood anything, if you want additional information, any other questions, just let me know in the comments. And until then, stay tuned.